is my weekly for week 5, the 15th of November to the 19th of November. We were introduced to the characters of Stoat and Weasel, which will be the bouncer-esque sort of couple duo for Big T. It's very clear to me that these two have like quite a comedy dynamic. The two of them bounce off each other. You have the dumber one, you have the smart one, and then you have the dumber one, which contrasts with each other. I partnered myself with Ellie because I feel like me and her, we bounce off each other quite well. We find it easy to make ideas and follow through. We don't take any breaks to laugh and stuff, and I think that we both have the same amount of focus and same type of comedy, I think, so it was easy to like work off. Initially I tried being Stoat and she was the Weasel, less intelligent than the Weasel. However, I feel like it works better with, considering the way that my physicality is compared to Ellie's, it just makes more sense for me to be the more domineering one. And when we switched up the characters, we realized that the jokes started to land a little bit more. I think we feed off each other's energy really well, and I think when we read for Stoat and Weasel, we got quite a good reaction from the audience. I think Stoat and Weasel comes back to the research of dynamic duos, like Lauren Hardy, the Chuckle Brothers, Dick and Dom, Anna and Dec, those types of pairings where they contrast each other well, and they bounce, they feed off each other's energy. So it's that there's more of that research inside of my scrapbook. But I think it was really interesting to take that onto the floor and learning what attributes and what skills you have which kind of connect with another person's to create a whole entire piece. This week we also received our casting, and the cast list is inside of my scrapbook. I was so happy to receive Alan and Aslan, basically. My initial thoughts on receiving the character was just, I was just elated. Like I was just delighted. Like I felt like all of my hard work from the past couple weeks had like finally paid off. I put a lot of work into Alan, and I put a lot of work into proving to the directors that I wanted this character. I think I wanted to show them that I can be the hero, I can be prideful, I can connect with an audience in a good way. One of the thoughts that crossed my mind as soon as I got the casting of Alan, because it is a main role, I was shocked to see that I am the only like main character without a double casting. So that is already something that I need to think of in the future, where I will have to be doing every single show. Depending on how much dialogue I have, if I have songs, if I have to do this, I'm going to have to maintain the same exact character every single night, which could be quite detrimental to my energy levels and like just my health in general. So working on my stamina is something that I'm going to definitely have to do for the next couple of weeks in order to be able to do a show every single night for 2 weeks running. I think I am capable of doing that. I think in the industry, you just need to be able to do things like that. So it's not a problem. It's just being aware that I am going to have to work that little bit extra to maintain the certain energy, because I think with a double casting, I got to experience that last year in Half a Sixpence with Miss Wolzenham, and it's very helpful because you get to see another actor play with the same character and see the different ways that they go about the same situations. By the end of Half a Sixpence, both of our characters were completely different, and I think I played, you learn to find your feet in a character by yourself, and it's nice to have someone to consult with and make ideas with. But as Alan is not double casted, it's just me, and I get to make all of the decisions. I don't get to watch anybody else do it a different way, and I don't get to steal little ideas from other people, which is what I did in Half a Sixpence. I also think that being double casted gives a chance for not a break, but a chance to reflect, a chance to adapt into a different character as well, and see the show in a completely different light. Linking back to Half a Sixpence again, when I wasn't playing Miss Wolzenham, I was playing an ensemble character who was also a dancer, and I got to do like a lot of the dance breaks and stuff and things like that. you see the show in a completely different light, and you get involved with it. You get involved with characters in different ways because obviously you're not playing the same character, and it's interesting to see how the show changes depending on what character you play. But I'm excited to not be double casted this term, because I think a lot of the time I spent comparing myself to the other character, and and I think one of the biggest things I learned last year was that I can never recreate something that somebody else has already done on stage, and it's down to me to be confident in my own decisions and character choices. So this process has really given me the chance to really find a solid character for myself and not be swayed by other people's opinions. Speaking to the directors, I was also informed that I was considered for the role of Ice Queen. The character that I wanted from the beginning was Aslan, but I know that the Ice Queen is a character that I would enjoy playing a lot. I feel like I feel like skills in terms of like my voice and how low it goes, and being able to create that dominating. I have quite a dominating personality. I do know that when I walk on stage I have quite a lot of presence, so it is a character that makes sense for me. However, I think Alan will be more of a challenge for me, because just receiving the first pieces of script for Alan, you can already see that this is an anxious character, and I've never had to play on my anxiety in front of an audience before. So I'm happy to step out of my comfort zone and really play with how versatile I am as an actor. During this week, I found warm-ups were quite unproductive. Our company tends to fall into a habit of throwing leadership around the room. I think everyone wants their voice to be heard quite a lot in the company, and when we're trying to rehearse, say, songs in a show, for example, Cold as Ice, you have members of the company that believe that they have the authority to stop the rehearsals and give in a note or give in a point, and then another actor will give in a point and a note, and another actor will give in a point and a note, and before you know it, everyone's talking and we're actually not taking the notes and doing anything with them. In terms of problem solving, all I know I can do is self-monitor. I have to be able to not add to the level of volume and noise that is going on in the room, because it's not going to help anything. I don't think me shouting over the top of everyone else is going to make the situation any better. So it's literally about one man for himself, making sure that you take responsibility for what you are doing. And I know that when I come into a rehearsal space, I'm already vocally warm. So if the vocal warm-up isn't sufficient enough, I'm warm, and that's good enough for me. My strengths this week would be my ability to work in a pairing with Ellie and being able to devise something in collaboration very well. I think that was one of the highlights this week. I really used my skills of comedy, and me and Ellie bounced off each other really well. On initial casting, I've already began playing with voices for my character, looking at physicalities. I feel like I already have a sense of what my character is going to be like. Taking responsibilities for myself, making sure that I am warm when I come into a rehearsal space, regardless if the other actors aren't prepared to do a full physical and vocal warm-up. I take the responsibility of myself as an actor, and I go to the gym in the morning, get myself warm, and I do my vocal warm-up before I even come into college, because I don't think our warm-ups are that sufficient. I think a lot of it starts out quite well and then it turns into an actor's game, which is beneficial but not beneficial at the time. A weakness that I enjoyed this week was being able to keep a positive attitude in the rehearsal space. I think sometimes after warm-ups, the energy levels dip quite a lot because of like arguments and bickers and stuff, and it's hard not to be affected by the energy in the room. A weakness of mine will also have to be my stamina. This show is going to require a lot of energy and a lot of singing and dancing at the same time. every single night. So considering I'm tired at the end of the day of like a 7-hour rehearsal, it worries me because I know that in the show I'm going to need to maintain that energy every single night, and not only that, be able to sing and dance and have my lines and everything. So I think my fitness levels are going to need to improve. Another weakness of mine would probably be my confidence in like solo singing. Getting the casting of Alan now means I have the solo in Raw, and that song is not a song that is comfortable in my range currently. I know that I'm going to probably need to work towards practicing that song quite a lot to make sure that it's comfortable for me, because it's not that I'm just singing this song, it's also I'm singing it on a mic, and I need to make sure that like I'm not embarrassing myself in front of an entire audience. So I'm gonna start practicing it. Yeah.